Hey, it's Regina. Do you want a team that runs without you constantly pushing? Then watch this video. Too many leaders feel like they are the engine pulling everyone else forward. They're stressed, they're overworked and drained. They have low energy because their team relies on them for every little thing, for every push, every answer, every next step. And instead of driving growth, they're stuck dragging the weight of the entire team. Like they are carrying their team on their shoulders. And aren't we all a bit like that at times? We sometimes feel like we carry our family on our backs, or even that we carry the entire world on our shoulders. I've certainly had moments when I felt that. We want to help everyone. We want to do it all. And so we do the same with our team, although it doesn't really work anywhere in our lives, because that's not how it actually works. And it's never worked to carry the weight for someone else. It just literally denies them the right to stand in their own power and to work in their own power and to live their lives, right? To make their own decisions. In the case of the team, to, yes, also make decisions and to feel like they contribute something meaningful, that their contributions are valued. If you're carrying the weight of everyone, then it's not helping anyone, and least of all, you. So if you do this, if you don't allow your team to think for themselves, if you don't allow them to make decisions for themselves, of course, after orienting them and communicating the vision and goals and all the important, passing on all the important information, if you don't allow them to find their own way to get to the goal, then that team will always depend on one person, you, and you become the bottleneck because you cannot be everywhere at the same time with your audience, with your clients, with your business partners, your investors, and your team. There's one you, right? So unless you know how to multiply yourself and be in all those different places together, that isn't physically possible. So that's why you become the bottleneck. People will be waiting on you. They will be waiting for instructions, for decisions. And this stalls everyone's creativity and progress. It stalls everyone's enthusiasm. And it's not fun to work like this. It's not how people grow. And most people do want to grow. It's how they get bored and frustrated. So you may not just create burnout for yourself and for your team, because burnout doesn't necessarily come from a workload or from too much work, right? It starts in our minds. And burnout often is caused by frustration, by not being able to work in our genius zone. So if you do it all, you deprive both yourself and your team from working in their genius zone. Innovation gets crushed when everyone's waiting for permission because there's no creativity. No creative juices can flow in such an environment, right? It's not an environment that promotes enthusiasm, that promotes engagement, that promotes um, commitment, ownership. So here's a crucial mindset shift. Freedom fuels responsibility and creativity. Leaders who build culture intentionally don't just get more ideas from their teams, they also get more creative ideas, right? So not just more quantity of ideas, but more higher quality ideas, more creativity, and they get more ownership, higher commitment and engagement. They don't have to constantly fight for that accountability. And this is how all involved in this process, the entire team, including you, experience less stress, experience more satisfaction from the work they do and from the cooperation they have as a team, from this process of co-creation. It now really becomes a process of true co-creation. And uh, the success that can be achieved together will be greater and it will also be more satisfactory. So let's look at some of the key principles. And these are just a few that I picked. One is clarity of vision. Okay, when the teams, well, or when the team understands the vision clearly, then it just becomes so much easier to become a part of it. And if there's that possibility, then what's even better is when the team participates in crafting the vision. They might not all have been there when you created your business, when you founded your business. So that vision might have come from you, that original vision, but the team vision can be recrafted um, whenever you want to, and whenever it feels like it's a great idea to do that. We renew it. It's like making a new speaker reel as a speaker because your old one is outdated, which is my case. I need to do my new speaker reel soon. So that's sort of similar, right? And I also actually renew my personal vision from time to time. And what's also important is that they understand the why behind the vision, right? Because that's once they understand the vision, the goals included in the vision, so the milestones, snow stones, the milestones, and the why behind the vision, that's when they can act without that constant guidance. They know where you're all going together and why. And the second element I want to talk about is trust over control, or the second principle, I should have said, because I call them principles, I believe. So freedom encourages creativity and innovation. If my hands are bound, I cannot build anything. As a team member, if I don't feel safe and expressing my voice is not encouraged, then I will not share as freely as as if I do feel safe, right? When I feel safe, then I will also feel safe to express my ideas. And if I don't feel safe, I might keep my $1 million ideas to myself and maybe share them with another team in the future when I have decided to change companies because I'm not challenged enough where I am and my ideas are not valued. So this is really important because you might actually risk that somebody takes their brilliant idea somewhere else if you don't let them express their talents, their ideas, their creativity within the team. And then the third principle that I want to share today with you is celebrate progress, not just completion. This creates safety to experiment. Experiment with new ways, new processes, new tools, new ideas. That's how innovation comes about. Of course, always within the framework of your vision and your goals that you have communicated in advance. And that you communicate also every time again when it's necessary. For example, when a new team member joins the team, or when something in that vision changes, or when the market requires a change, or whatever the reason might be. Okay, so imagine walking into work, into your company, whatever that looks like, whether it's a brick and mortar company or whether it's an office somewhere or in a co-working space or virtually a virtual space. So imagine walking into that space knowing that your team is already moving ideas forward without waiting for your push. When you've decided to take a few days off, now you know with certainty that your business is still in good hands and it's still running and moving forward. And even when you're away, your business cannot just survive without you, but actually also thrive in your absence. Because your team feels empowered and like they have the authority to make decisions, to step up when required, and they have the discernment to reach out only when it's truly necessary. They don't call you every 5 minutes when you are on vacation. Sounds nice, huh? It's possible. If you want to fuel freedom and innovation in your team, then and a team that grows without constant pushing, then I invite you to grab my free guide, Lead with Edge. You can find it at transformyourperformance.com/lead with edge. And I'm gonna also drop it into the description to this video. And with this guide, you can learn how to get started in this process. And I'm, of course, also always up for a conversation. So if you prefer to reach out directly to me, you can do that by emailing me at regina@transformyourperformance.com or through my website, transformyourperformance.com. I look forward to your message.